Hey everybody, it's Gypsy. I have come to the conclusion that somebody somewhere along the way has put the maloch on me. Now, maloch is Italian for evil eye. Now, I am pronouncing it with a Sicilian dialect. That is where my family's from. Other parts of Italy, they're going to pronounce it differently. So I'm going to spell it for you. It is spelled M-A-L. Sometimes it's got an apostrophe to shorten it, so you don't have to put, I think, il or d, something like that. And then it's O-C-C-H-I-O. I guess, what is that? Maybe northern or another dialect, they might say Malocchio. We say Maloch in Sicily. Now, the evil eye, I think in every culture they have a version of it. It may vary slightly, but I think it's basically the same. It can be put on someone either intentionally or unintentionally. So, somebody, they don't like you, they're jealous of you. They may want something you have or whatever. I don't know. That vibration, that feeling goes out into the universe. And whether you intend to or not, you could be hurting someone else by putting that intention out there. And I feel very strongly that someone has done that to me. The past few weeks, the worst things have been happening to me. First, the fall. And so, I'm not so sure it started there. I think it was after I fell. I think when I was in the hospital or something. Now, I can't imagine somebody being jealous of me in this condition. My life sucks right now. It's difficult. I'm going through a lot of difficult things. So I don't know why somebody would be jealous of me, maybe ill intent towards me. I don't know. But while I was in the rehab hospital, my son and daughter-in-law came down to get things ready at my property to bring me up to Ohio. They wanted to make sure everything was put away safely, everything was secure, none of my stuff would get damaged or anything. Now, my truck was running fine before I got hurt. There was nothing wrong with it. In fact, the week before this incident happened, my son had driven my truck to the hospital and parked it in the garage at the hospital. And then when they flew back into town the following week, my son and daughter-in-law picked it up, drove it back to my property. And they were doing stuff at my property, trying to get things in order. And they get in the truck and the battery's dead. So my neighbor comes and she tries to jump the truck and it wouldn't do a thing. So I live in the middle of nowhere. My son, he's trying to call for a jump, a tow. Nobody could find him. Nobody would come out to where I am located because it is in the middle of nowhere. The sheriff had to come out and help my son. I'm not sure exactly what the sheriff did because I don't think we ever got to that part. And my son and daughter-in-law were staying at a hotel. And so the next day, since my truck wasn't running, my son walked from the hotel very, very long distance to a U-Haul place and rented a U-Haul to pack my stuff up so that it's safe and no one vandalizes it, etc. So here, I guess my batteries seemed fine. I mean, everything was fine, but it was gone. So my son had to then also get a battery. Then he had to go back to my place, put it in the truck, etc. Now, what had happened before my son and daughter-in-law got to my place, was they took a flight from Cleveland to Albuquerque. They were supposed to get to Albuquerque at 1:30. They were going to come and bring me nice lunch. We're going to have lunch together, have a visit, etc. Except they had a layover in Denver. The connecting flight to get to Albuquerque was delayed. And it was supposed to be just an hour. But I think it ended up being a little more. Then they get to Albuquerque, and they were stuck on the runway for a good hour. I mean, it was at least an hour. So by the time they did get to the hospital, it was late. They were exhausted, etc. And they still wanted to get to my property before it got dark to do stuff. They ended up getting there after dark, and then the thing with the battery happened. So the next day, I was to be discharged from the hospital, and then I was supposed to be taken to Ohio and admitted to this new place, this skilled nursing. My insurance all of a sudden decided I could walk. It's a miracle. I am healed. Praise Jesus. Yet, I'm still using a wheelchair. Yeah, I don't know what their definition of walking is. I do need to find this out. So that was the next bad luck, shall we say, that I had. So, after my son and daughter-in-law load me up in the truck, which is a major feat, and get me out, we go to the Walmart where the hospital sent my prescriptions. So my son comes out and he's going, Mom, these are not all the prescriptions that are supposed to be here. So he looks, and there are 2 prescriptions missing. One was the oxycodone, which is the most important. Not that I take it often, but there are certain times or activities where I need to have it. Otherwise, my leg won't do anything. I mean, I can't even pick it up to move it. Okay, because the pain. And when I'm in that much pain, it feels very heavy and paralyzed. So I can't even move my left leg with my hands. So my son goes back in, and the pharmacist said we had a question about the strength. We called the hospital, waiting for the doctor to call back. Never has. So I tried calling the hospital to get a hold of the doctor, to call the pharmacist. My son did. My daughter-in-law did. Couldn't get a hold of a person. And we were sitting in the Walmart parking lot all afternoon. By this time, we should have been out of New Mexico, but we're still sitting there. So finally, I don't know how my son did it. He got a hold of the doctor. And the doctor says, oh, okay, I'll call the pharmacy now. So my son waits about 20 minutes, call the pharmacist, and the doctor still hadn't called. So we wasted an entire afternoon trying to get my medication. The only thing that saved us was the pharmacist said, well, it's the dosage is very high, and I can't just give it out willy-nilly. She asked my son, can you tell me what happened to your mother that she needs this high of a dose? So my son explained about the fall and the fractured tibia plateau and the knee joint smashing into each other and all that. It's gross. Anyways, I'll try not to talk about it. And the pharmacist was, I could hear her on the phone. She goes, oh my God. She goes, I'm going to fill this right now. It'll be ready in about 10 minutes. So we go back up. We finally get my prescription. By this time, it's dark. Well, my son, he's like, I don't care. Mom, I need to get the hell out of New Mexico. I mean, he couldn't even stand to be in that state anymore. Everything was going wrong for us. Okay. So we get out of New Mexico, and then we get a hotel room. The next day we get back on the road, and it's like the day is almost over. I'm like, oh my God, nothing bad has happened today. That's great. My son is like, Mom, shh, don't say anything. Well, wouldn't you know? We're in Kansas, driving down the highway, and all of a sudden we hear this bang, and my son looks back and sees sparks coming out from under my trailer, my house. The axle broke. So we had to sit on the side of the highway, calling insurance and all that. By the time we got, it ended up we had to drop the trailer on the side of the highway. It had to stay there. By the time, it could not just be towed by any towing vehicle. My son, being a trucker, my son understands these things, but something about it had to be on some kind of low flatbed because of the height of the trailer and stuff like that. I don't know. But it wasn't until yesterday that they were able to tow my trailer. Yesterday was Wednesday. My trailer sat inside of the highway since Saturday. Yesterday was Wednesday. We're hoping to get reimbursed for the towing costs, because when you need a tow like that, we're talking thousands of dollars. So my trailer's finally there. Now we got to find out how that's, find out about that. But it was constantly, I'd say for the past week and a half, one thing after another was going wrong. And then I said, honey, I swear, someone's put the maloch on us. I really feel that very strongly. Within the past couple of weeks, someone has done that. Whether it was intentional or not, anybody out there who had such strong bad feelings towards me, you succeeded in hurting me and my family. Whether you intended to or not, and just letting you know, it worked. But it's over with, okay? I just want to let everybody know, be careful with your feelings. It's normal to feel jealousy towards somebody, anger, whatever. But when you are feeling it to such an extent and such a level, and it's very strong, and I don't know, maybe constant, you run the risk of putting the maloch on that person, okay? And you're harming. You're doing harm. And it should always be, do what you will, harm none. Our feelings are spiritual vibrations. Those are real. Vibrational frequencies are very real, and they are very strong. You can harm someone without even touching them, just by having those strong feelings. Okay? So we need to be careful with this. It's okay. We all have bad feelings once in a while. We're all human. But to obsess about it, maybe take it too seriously, instead of, maybe if it's jealousy, I don't know, whatever it is, instead of being angry somebody has something you don't, what I could possibly have that somebody be jealous of, I can't understand. But if that's the case, you need to look and take an inventory of what you have to be, that you're grateful for, because we all have something. And when you put gratitude, that vibration, out into the universe picks up on it and starts sending more good things your way. So and also, then you're not so jealous of everybody else. But you always remember, our feelings, our minds, our vibrational frequencies are so strong that you can hurt somebody from a long distance away. Okay? And I'm sorry. Yes, I know a lot of people don't believe this. Okay? There goes Strega talking about the evil eye, Maloch. It's real. And I do believe it has happened to me. So whoever it was succeeded, but I have put a stop to it. Okay? So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Really think about that. Vibrational frequencies. It's what we're made of. It's who we are. That energy. Okay? It's real. Leave you with that. Blessed be. And make it a joyful one.